Hello everyone and welcome back to chapter 10. Imagine rewriting the same code 10 times just because your data type changed. That's like having 10 remote controls for one TV. Rust says nah. Let's clean this up with generics. So, when do we actually need generics? Pretty much anytime your code feels like deja vu. This works, but it's ugly duplication. Let's fix it. And boom! A single function that works for numbers, characters, even emojis if you really want. Generics also supercharge structs and enums. Why stop at points that only use one type? With generics, we can mix and match. Now, generics alone are cool, but without traits, they're wild toddlers with no rules. It's basically Rust's way of saying, if you join the club, you gotta learn the handshake. Things get spicy when you start combining multiple traits. Instead of writing monstrous signatures, Rust gives us were clauses. The second version, clean, readable Zen. And here's where most people panic, lifetimes. Lifetimes are just Rust's way of making sure references don't outlive their owners. Okay, enough theory. Let's level up our task manager app. All right, so this is what chapter 9 previously had, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna make it generic. So let's start off by adding a new trait. I think we can add this anywhere, but I'm gonna add it maybe before the implied. So we're gonna do a public trait, summarize, and we're gonna call it a function summary. We're going to pass it self, and it's going to return to us a string. So we're making tasks flexible without copying, pasting types. This trait is the rulebook. Any text, any extra data attached to a task must be able to summarize itself. You know, AB generic, common rule, you know, yeah, all that stuff. So after that, we're going to add some more types here. We're going to create a pub struct deadline. And here we're going to give it a due date. We're going to give it a string. And we're going to do an implement of summarize for deadline. And we're going to give it the summary again. We're going to pass itself. And then this time we're going to do the string, but we're going to give it a format of, let's see if we can do that here. Dude by, boom, boom. And then self dot due date. You have never used self. It's pretty much like Python's self. It just is it's pretty much calling the object itself. That's why it's called self. It's like myself, yourself, you know, that. Next is the next one, which is going to be priority info. We're going to give it a public level here, where that's our priority level, and we're going to implement summarize again for priority info. And once again, our summary for this function is going to be self again with a string format. Let's see if I can do it this way. Maybe this looks nicer actually. This might look nicer. Priority level. Self dot level. Okay. Let's do that. I think that's better actually. Yeah. I think that looks better. Much more neat. Last one, we're going to do a public structure, no extra. There we go. And we're going to implement the summarize for this, no extra. And this one's just going to be a summary. again, we're going to give it a string, and it's just going to be a string from. That's for our match case, essentially. So a deadline knows its due date, a priority knows its level, and some tasks need nothing at all. That's why we have the no extra. So anyways, after that, we're going to make the task generic and replace the due date. So we're going to go into our task here. As you can see, we're going to do t summarize. And just like that, our task is now generic. Let's do our task types, and we're going to do, we're going to replace due date here with pub extra, essentially, right? So that's our generic type t. And then let's do implements generic type t with task t, where basically t summarizing public function new, and where is my public function? Title, priority, task, and then extra here. We're just going to give that an extra there, and we're going to give it t, just like that. And it's going to be a task of generic t, task to string. Now our title is coming from a string from title. The description is from nothing. Priority is good. Tag is from nothing. Status is to do. Task type, and then extra. And we have our mark done, status done, and that's it. So pretty much I think this right here, I can just do this here. Implement there. So let me get rid of that. Implement task. Where's t summarize? Boom. Just like that. Implementing generic task t, where t is summarized, and then here our new function is being called. I think that's pretty much it. So what did we do? We pretty much made it so that due date, it becomes an extra. So now the same task can carry a deadline, a richer priority info, or nothing at all, basically. So next, we're going to because extra follows the summarize rulebook, any task can print a nice one-liner without knowing the concrete type, basically. So let's add this helper right below. Public function print card. I'm going to give it a generic type, where t is the task. Generic. Print the line, and we're going to print, this is essentially what's going to print from our task now, from now on, essentially. Tag. Let's, can I do this? I kind of like to have my stuff in new lines. Or do I have to new line it? That's the real question. I really hope I don't have to. Anyways, priority, t.title, t.extras, .summary, that's extra function, t. Whoa, I just typed t.status. Okay. So now we've got a nice fancy function called print card. Next, let's move on to actually using this. So let's go back to our main.rs here. And I think as you can see here, we are pretty much calling our tasks with the vector task. So we're creating a new task here. Let's do another task here. Let's call this task deadline. So we're gonna create a task here. You can call it whatever. Mine's just gonna be called that. And then as you can see, I've created a task with our generic type deadline. What's the deadline? We're going to email a client. We have a priority 2, task type is going to be email, obviously. And the deadline for this is going to be our due date, 2025 0904 dot. All right. And just like that, we've created a new task called T1. Next, let's do another one. Call this one richer prio info. Task priority info equal to task new. And here we're going to edit the video. Give it a priority of 1. Task type is going to be a video edit, and priority info is going to be level 5. Boom. And just like that, we have 2 of our tasks. Let's try and see if we can use this bad boy. Tasks.push T1. Tasks.push T2. And then let's see. This is cool. Let's see if we can also print the card, because we have that function now too. Let's do and T1 and T2. Okay, let's try all of those real quick. Chapter 10, Rust. As a cargo run. Let's see, some errors. It's fine. Expected some errors. Lots of errors. Shit. Why is this not found? Why is deadline not found? I have it right here. Deadline. Right there. Struct deadline. Do I have to possibly call it? Let's see. Cannot find print card. Next one, I guess. This is getting longer than I intended it for. to get. Yeah. Okay, I see. Technically, I guess it's because I didn't put a T there. Does that work? I don't want to mess with it, actually. For now, let's not push it into our list, and let's just try and print the card. That way, we don't have too many errors that I already have to deal with, which are all these errors, so. And storage.rs. We're just gonna look at these side by side and see what happened. So as you can see here, our save tasks now has a generic type called no extra. So we added a no extra generic there. Everything else looks the same, except here you can see our due date is string new. No additional data, we keep it empty, right? And that's pretty much it. Let's move on to load tasks. You can see that our vector task now also has another addition called no extra. Everything basically that so these load tasks are right now is just for the no extra task. So if I wanted to create a one for deadline, I would have to create a new load tasks where it implements deadline. And we will probably do that next video. I just don't want to bloat this video as it was already pretty long when I was actually writing it. So moving on, that was storage. Let's move on to test.rs. As you can see, test.rs here. Not much changed. We have this derived debug. You don't really need that. Just had that for debugging purposes. But as you see, our task now has a T with a trait of summarize. As you know, we added these new traits for deadline, priority info, and no extra, and implemented the new and print card. So those are the two new ones. Moving on, let's get to the meat and chunk of this whole thing, which is going to be the main.rs. So as you can see here, our previous add task was just a vector with tasks. Now we have a no extra for our tasks. So that means if I want to make a new one, like I said, you have to add. Lastly, our main here now references no extra. Here we don't have due date, we just have no extra now. And that's pretty much it in terms of that. I just realized I did lose my T1 and T2. Kind of upsetty spaghetti about that. Let me just grab those real quick. There we go. And then let's just do print card and make sure these are working properly.
status cannot be used formatted using. Okay, just that, I guess. Just get rid of the status for now. I don't need it. I just want to see it work. There you go. So where is our card? So these are our cards right here. Print cards, email client, edit video, and they're for different things. As you can see, we have a due date, we have a priority level. Yeah. So that's pretty much covered generics. We've generalized tasks without losing clarity. Next, we'll prepare this for concurrency, so your queue can scale without fear. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye. Make sure to subscribe. Bye-bye.